Welcome to the Please Subscribe show. This is my PayPal QR. If you'd like to fund our channel, go ahead and do so. Thanks so much, and you have a great day. Oh, by the way, this is footage from one of our short films called Lynn Driver.
Drop off. Lynn drives, parks, brings package to client's store. I could care less the address. Only follow the GPS to get here. Now, a slow motion of Lynn. That's me! Approaching door.
All right, new glasses. Welcome to the Please Subscribe show. I'm Cole, this is my wife Linda. Hope you're having a good Sunday. September 3rd of 2023. And Linda's gonna go off and serve food to people throughout the day. I'll be going to the airport and just come along with us and join us in our mundane American Splendor style adventure, which kind of like, I don't know, just stuff happens, you know, every once in a while. It's kind of like that a little bit. Maybe not exactly like American Splendor, but just kind of, well, it's not really ordinary completely. It's a little bit, but not completely. Just put it this way, we're not at Disney World.
I get there and fix it. This truck should be okay by the time we walk down there. We just need to get like that.
You okay, Katie? Do you like your scratch and cuddle? Good for you.
So just a real quick movie review of, well, I've already kind of started it, but Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves. So yeah, there is a cameo with Bradley Cooper. He plays this character called Marleman. Fairly small guy, living with this giant lady. And he just kind of goes off as nonchalant, like, I'm working on my book, and things like that. And they show up at some kind of Hobbit-style looking kind of village house and things like that. And it's pretty good. It's a little complex, the whole story, Dungeons and Dragons. I'm liking it though. Hugh Grant's in it, Chris Pine, and what's that lady's name? The one that's
Michelle Rodriguez.
Martinez or something like that. She plays kind of like this kind of butch thief, and they're all like on horses and stuff. I highly recommend it. All right, one more time on Dungeons and Dragons. Michelle Rodriguez plays Holga, and Chris Pine plays a character named Edgin, and Cooper has a cameo. Bradley Cooper, he has a cameo, Marleman, something like that. It's pretty good. It's directed by kind of like a, I don't know if he's a clean slate director, but he hasn't done a whole lot of work. Dungeons and Dragons is his first kind of thing. So I want to say the word Scott. So I'll look up the director in a minute. Hang on. John Francis Daisy and Jonathan Goldstein are the directors of Dungeons and Dragons right here. It's pretty good. Pretty good. John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein. Those are the two directors. Pretty cool. Dealing with about 102 degrees Fahrenheit, 191,274 miles on the speedometer. There's Linda. I'm Cole. Welcome back to the Please Subscribe show. Rib is kind of hurting, so I'm writing a book called Rib or Dog Night Out. All right. Talk to you later. Have a good day and follow along. Also, I try to leave my PayPal too, that QR PayPal. If you want to be a channel supporter, your name will be mentioned on the show, just like Wally and Tony and the Kentucky Ranger. Do appreciate it. Doesn't matter the amount. It's a thought that counts. So if you do want to be a channel supporter, you are a giver. So be a giver and be a YouTube channel supporter on my channel. And you can find it through the QR. So just take your phone, put it up to the QR thing if it's not there. I mean, I just forgot to put it in the editor. or you can just look in the description. It's paypal.me/Cole Spivey. All right, cool. About when I got assaulted, he came into my car and he pushed me against this thing right here, which is called the console, and then he got on me. So when you're seeing it, I had gotten over through all the way here like this to kind of try to get to this side of this door to try to get out, but he choked me and held me there. The police completely supported him in doing that, is what I'm knowing. And that's what's messed up about our society. So Biden has not reformed the police. I am proof of that from what happened. Man should have been arrested immediately. Anyway, they also took my phone, which was far more than whatever change was in that loose tip jar that was in their stupid restaurant. And they took my keys too, which I know $27,000 car is but the police made them return the property, and also the property was never on me, so they had already done that. Luckily they didn't kill me because I was able to video who he was. I don't know who the man is though. Only the police. Officer Shoak has his information. So if I do end up making it, I do go back just to investigate, to talk to the guy, because I don't have to sue him, but I can confront him and ask him exactly what he was on, what drugs he was on. That's what I want to know the most. Because if he was on drugs, then he should be held accountable for other things that he may end up doing to people. The phone went down here, but I didn't have time to put my seatbelt on because I didn't have any of the money on me when I was in the car. So the phone came down here like this. So what you were looking at was me holding the camera from down here, and is either film it or call the police, so I felt safer filming it. That's the crazy world that we're in. Anyway, check out Dungeons and Dragons. It's a pretty good thing. I watched it the other day. I was doing a movie review on that. Man, it makes me so mad. Like, I figured once they got there, they'd arrest the guy. Because usually, like, if, you know, like, everything costs money. So if you call 911 over Chicken McNuggets, then usually the person that calls 911 goes to jail. But that was an emergency situation, so... But I guess what I'm trying to say was that if he didn't jump on me and things like that, and they called, then the police would have been really mad. But because of the fact that he assaulted me... Now, they did take photos of me, so if they got him later and I didn't see it, then they did do their job. And I feel bad for him, you know, for going that far over something stupid. But I think it was out of hatred. I think it could have been a potential hate crime, is I think what it was. It was a potential hate crime, because I don't think he was finding something that he could hurt somebody and get away with it. Like, you know, I can hurt this person and get away with it, you know. But they showed up, and he was like, "Hey, buddy, you messed up. Police are on their way." And I was like, shouldn't you be the one that's concerned about the police? You burglarized yourself into my car, basically. You're pinning me down in my car, this is like going to someone's house. It's a very serious crime. And he's like, "You're waiting on the police." And I'm just like, dude, get out of my car. You better go now while you can, you know? But he just didn't listen. He didn't listen, you know? I tried to help the best that I could. People just don't use common sense. But I don't know. You know, if they didn't do anything about it, then they need to go back to the academy and, like, relearn things. And I'm still sore. It's been since June 5th, and we're going in August, or actually we're going into September, and it's still a painful situation. Like, you know, the pain is mostly like right here, under here, and it spreads down this side of the ribs because of this console right here. Because of the console. I don't think a medal will be given out on that one. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the first Dungeons and Dragons movie that came out was 2000, and then the other one was 2023. I'll have to double check that. But I think they should continue on with the whole series. It took 23 years until they did a remake, and I think this remake, it's not really a remake, it's a continuation of the Dungeons and Dragons series. I think they should continue on with it. Dungeons and Dragons is like one of my favorite games, for sure. I would say it's my favorite game. And then, you know, I like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire too. That's a fun game. And then also, you know, Monopoly's cool too, and a lot of different games. But Dungeons and Dragons is more than a game. It's kind of like a way of life. It's like a community of people that get together. It's real cool. They read off modules, and there's a dungeon master and all that kind of stuff. I think they should get into some of that too, like maybe characters playing Dungeons and Dragons, and it gets into the world of Dungeons and Dragons, and then back into the characters playing Dungeons and Dragons. There's also another movie called it might be called Monsters and Mazes, with Tom Hanks, and it was kind of a take on Dungeons and Dragons a little bit. But yeah, I'm all for it. I think it's cool. This one did have some dragons. It was kind of cool. There's like this fat dragon in it that can't really fly, but he can slide around and stuff like that, and he eats people and stuff. It's pretty cool. Then they have the statue dragon too. They do have dragons in it, which I thought was cool, because ultimately in Dungeons and Dragons, you come across a dragon eventually, you know, it happens. And I thought Bradley was really good too. I thought he made a very funny appearance. You know, he does very well in Marvel and things like that. It was good. It was good. Chris Pine. Actually, is a brat. Chris Pine's in it. I'm trying to go. Rodriguez. I think her name is Rodriguez. She's really awesome. Then there's a character that I think there's like this chick named Daisy Head. She plays a wizard. It's like evil wizard chick. I'm still watching it though. It's not a full review by far. My reviews can take like a week. From what I see, I'd be brave enough to give it an 8.7 for entertainment value. I thought the special effects are great. The dragons are very creative and cool. I know it's going to get downplayed because it's based on a game, but I thought it was more entertaining than Lord of the Rings. Personally, I know Lord of the Rings is a classic. Everyone loves Lord of the Rings, but I thought it was more entertaining than Lord of the Rings. Is all I'm saying. And Peter Jackson's great for doing Lord of the Rings. This guy's the guy that's doing Dungeons and Dragons right now. I think his name is like something Goldstein, and the other guy is I just looked it up earlier. There's two directors. It's co-direction, which I think is cool too. Being like co-directing a movie is really cool. And they both don't really have any big hits. This is their first big hit. It got high ratings too on Internet Movie Database. It was like a 7 point whatever, and that's high. You know, if you get like a 7.6 or 7.9 or whatever, that's pretty high for a movie. And then also Rotten Tomatoes gave it a fresh. So I don't know how many Rotten Tomatoes it got. They gave it what's called fresh, so they liked it. So I consider it a successful film, and I plan to watch it, the rest of it. Now it's a little wordy, and it does have a lot of story, but so does Dungeons and Dragons. If you're fans of Dungeons and Dragons, you're gonna love it. Big time. I'll just put it this way about Dungeons and Dragons. Like, you know, if I did make it as a big time director and I was able to get a lot of funding from like different big studios, I'd probably put it down as a list in one of the movies that I'd want to do. You know, like you know, I don't know if I would do it, but like I would put it in a list. You know, if I made a list for a franchise, way more than I would for Marvel. You know, I would rather do like a Dungeons and Dragons series movies for sure. You know, even if I picked up a J.R.R. Tolkien series, which that's a big project. You know, I gotta admit, Peter Jackson's a genius, and that's more of a masterpiece kind of movie. It's long-winded, it's sticking to the book. Dungeons and Dragons can go like really any direction because you can use a module, like remember the Ravenloft modules with the vampires and all that kind of stuff. You can use any of that. You know, it's like that's a great series to really pursue over the last few years, but they waited 20 years to do any other. I'm gonna look on that again. Yeah, it was like 20 years ago, like in 2000, or it was 23 years ago, but still, I think Jeremy Irons was part of it, which is pretty cool. But anyway, I was just kind of stoked that they did it in 2023. I think it's cool that they did that because Dungeons and Dragons should have a big comeback. Now they do have a thing called Dragon Con, which is going on, like it's either over with or it's like the last day or something. That was originally just a place to go play Dungeons and Dragons. So it was originally what it was you would meet up and you would play Dungeons and Dragons. They called it Dragon Con. Now it's a big kind of Comic-Con event. You know, it's Dragon Con, it's different, but it's very similar to Comic-Con because they bring in a lot of famous people and they also dress up and do cosplay. Anyway, it is coming back a little bit. There was a whole room. I was watching one of A.D.W.C's vlogs about Comic-Con, and there was a whole room of people behind them playing Dungeons and Dragons. So it is still a popular game. And also, if you read my story, Catnappers, under Ash Cole, under Fiction Press, it does mention Dungeons and Dragons in that as well, too. So the characters play a game called Borderlands, which is really, I think it's called, in the book, it's called Wonderlands or something like that. I can't think of the name in the book, but anyway, I should know this because I'm the writer. But it's Borderlands. I think it's Wonderlands in the book. But anyway, basically what it is, it's like a live action version of Dungeons and Dragons, where you dress up and you have the padded armor and the padded weaponry. I keep timers on all the stuff that I do. I just want to know if you guys have any problems on the iPhone 11 stopwatch. I've been having it reset on its own, and if anybody has any problems and they have an iPhone 11 and there's a stopwatch reset, and this is the watch that comes with the computer. I mean, I'm sorry, the phone. Well, the phone's a computer, but you know, the smartphone. I don't know. It's been resetting, so I'm just resetting alarms now. But I'm still going to use the stopwatch. Also use the countdown. I don't have any problems with the countdown. I don't know what that one's called, but the stopwatch one, you know, the one that you can do lap and things like that, for some reason I look down and it resets itself, and that's like a major problem. Wanting to know if anyone's having glitches like that, or if maybe it's something I'm doing I'm not really aware of. I'm just kind of thumbing out of it too quick and it's resetting it. I don't really know why. Maybe satellite and radar. I don't really know. If anybody knows, leave a comment. Bit of cloud cover. There's the American Eagles right there. this way and just right over there.